There are two types of towers in this game. Released. And unreleased yet somewhat finished. And honestly, I'd want to use those unreleased towers and give an opinion on them. But the only people that have towers like evolved towers are once Razuatics. And now only below natural. These towers are unbalanced. Unfinished, but still some of them are really interesting to me. So let's talk about them. Let's first off start with the clear ones. Let's start off with the Juggernaut. This tower is an alternative to Minigunner. Stronger. And cooler in every way. Like dude. They still update the icons of evolved towers to this day. There isn't any information on this tower. And fan-made interpretations of it. You could use this tower in their interpretation. And it had modified minigunner stats from leaked files for the 2021 era of TDS. This tower appears to be in a black dungarees with mechanical attachments to it. On max level it looks to have a fire-infused Gatling gun and a blacked-out helmet visor. This tower has only one level completed, which is its base level. It has no special animations and only rotates 360 degrees to attack enemies. Bullet trails are visible on this tower. Next, what would be a good thing to talk about is the Kingpin. The tower replacing Crookboss. Instead of a normal pistol. It starts off with a semi-scar. The gun, not the wound. We have no stats on this tower. And the only interpretation you can find is once again TDS fangames that were reverse engineered by people. This tower wears a black fedora with a fully blacked out suit. This tower has no other levels than level 0 to 3. Level 4 and 5 are not animated. Though they do have broken models which have not been reworked ever since their initial release. The operator. What is there else to say other than the fact this tower is basically a reworked scout? We have no info on this tower whatsoever. And the only thing we can base the operator off of is the normal scout. The operator has nothing else but a pistol per meter 1911 with a fully blacked out shirt or sweater. Whatever you want to call it. Now out of the topic of evolved towers. Let's talk about the Void Miner. A tower that was once used to activate the now waiting in queue to come back Hidden Wave. It was removed around a few months before Hidden Wave was removed. This tower was admin developer exclusive only back in the days of 2020 before the overhaul. The tower was only used for activating Hidden Wave on more than 4 people lobbies by developers for YouTubers to showcase. It did no damage whatsoever. The Void Miner's appearance is shown to be from a broke-looking miner to a billionaire. From level 0 to level 2 there's basically no difference. But for level 3 it gets a drill, and on level 5 has some kind of stain on his dungaree. Pretty cool tower design in my opinion. Just would be nice if it did damage, then it wouldn't have to be deleted and forgotten about. The Mine Cave Tower. This tower was talked about Wikia colors and was mentioned in an iceberg, so I may as well mention it here. It was a scrapped version of Farm that was also supposed to apparently spawn miners with pickaxes. Though take with what I say with a grain of salt, BAQs, this tower was never released. And it was scrapped into very early development of it. Then we have the Hacker Tower. You knew this one was coming. So let me talk about it. There isn't any info on this tower in terms of stats. Or any other levels than presumably the 2020 level 3 of the tower. Why level 3, you ask? Just a wild guess. Take that with a grain of salt. But for all we know, this tower was supposed to give permanent hidden detection, which was handed over to Ace Pilot as a nerf to the ground mechanic that only lets other towers see hidden enemies for 30 seconds of the wave. Then we have the partially released towers, which are available for more than 10 people in the community. Which is the War Machine. I can actually talk about this tower a bit without getting cut off short to lack of information. Woo. Anyway, this tower is a moderator exclusive tower that you get for passing the moderator exams in the Tower Defense Simulator Discord server, which I don't recommend joining. It's a messed up community that you shouldn't fall into. Anyway, this tower starts off with an exoskeleton, something like those from Five Nights at Freddy's sister location, but a bit more of a downgrade to level 2, where it gets 2 rocket launchers. That lets it deal pretty good splash damage. After that, on level 4 it gets a 10% damage buff to the rest of the towers. And then it gets a 20% damage buff to give the other towers permanently. That's a big increase in damage. The tower is more of a support tower than a DPS tower. And it's really expensive, as expected from a tower that buffs the most important stat of the tower: the raw damage it deals. This tower also comes with a mid-upgrade animation, which is the only in the game. On level 5 a black hole comes out of the back of War Machine when it upgrades to its dark matter armor. It's really cool to see in game, and sadly it's the only actual upgrade animation in the entire game. Then we have the Mecha Base. We all know this tower. We all wanted to use it. And we all wanted to have a chance to test it in hardcore for ourselves. I know I did. This tower, unlike any other unreleased tower in the game, is a powerful spawner tower that spawns mechanical walkers on the path, which not only have a lot of health, they also do quite decent damage from level 0 as well. This tower is admin exclusive, which mind you is even rarer to get accepted into the administration team for TDS than to get into a game with an administrator and not get rejected. The tower itself changes from level 0 to 5 quite a lot. And it isn't that expensive, which goes around 19.7k cash in total. This tower isn't balanced whatsoever. 5,000 health for 6.5k is such a steal that nobody would refuse in the TDS community. Absolutely insane power on the field. The next tower that I want to mention is the infamous Brawler. This tower was a prototype, or as people in the gaming industry call it, a scrapped version of the widely known Gladiator. The tower itself has the stats of Gladiator, which you could see if you would use an exploit called Dev Explorer. What we still don't know about is why this tower was cancelled. My theory on it is quite simple. As I said, it was a prototype, which was never confirmed by the devs or anything. But that's the theory. This tower was really cool for a melee tower, and I hope that the developers, with how they're working on the game to add more fan service content, we could actually use this tower as returning content. As of right now, this tower has only one level done, fully modeled, and fully animated. It holds the appearance of, you guessed it, a boxer with those very known brass knuckles. This tower has 2 attack animations, which is a left swipe and a uppercut. Anyway, that's about it for this tower. It's a really cool idea in my opinion. One of the cooler unreleased towers. Then we have the last unreleased tower that we know about, with digging not too far into the game's files with cheats. The Twit Gunner. You can probably guess that this is in fact a reference to Bellonatural's early inspiration for the game, being tower battles. The tower itself has 3 levels, fully modeled, animated, and fully balanced. Well, not quite. The tower's levels are basically the scouts' levels. They're copied. But, for what I know, this tower itself had something like the Tweeter Tower from Tower Battles, which no other TDS fangame has reached the decision to make it that way. Though, take this with a grain of salt. Biakus, I heard this from someone around 2 years ago talking about the Twit Gunner with me. But, what was the mechanic? Giving cash each wave. Basically a farm. But much worse. Much worse. For what I know, level 3 was supposed to give 25 cash, while level 4 was supposed to give 75 cash, while level 5, being the max level, was supposed to give 125 cash. This tower has a really interesting concept, and I don't really mind it being somewhat of a ripoff of the tweeter. But hey, it was 2019 after all. Cut Paradoxum Games some slack. A honorable mention would the Yeot Tower, which is it in its name. It's the Cowboy Tower. But old. Yeah, it's weird. This tower was never showcased to the public, and was never really given a name. It's just called like that in the TDS community. We have absolutely no information on this tower, except the level 0 of it, and level 5, which look exactly the same. The tower itself from level 0 to 5 wields a Gatling gun that I don't know if, but I'm pretty sure that it had that overtalked about ability that boosted its fire rate by like 20–30%. Though take everything I say here about the Yeot Tower with a grain of salt. Anyway, that's about it for this video. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe. I stream sometimes on here and it would really mean a lot to me if you, the viewer, could expose the channel to a bigger audience. And if you didn't really enjoy the video, don't subscribe and be sure to tell me what I should change in my videos to improve upon them. I take community feedback seriously. Anyway, CYA people, this was Virus Detected. Now clocking off.